act tonight, Jermall Charlo, will get it on with a veteran by the name of Antwone Smith.
Fantasy Springs Casino, Showbox, are you ready? He's 23-4 with 12 wins coming by way of knockout. From Miami, Florida, Antwone, the Truth Smith.
Antwone Smith, now 26 years old, and really he's made a career out of fighting guys wherein he is the underdog. He does seem to be at his very best when he's fighting undefeated fighters. He's a very good body puncher. He's got good speed. He says he's stronger than he's ever been since moving up to 154. In fact, he's moved up beyond 154. We'll talk a little bit more about that. He has fought far more experienced opposition than Charlo, including a former world champion by the name of Kermit Cintron, who he beat. And he also beat Jose Luis Castillo in his most recent fight. That was back in February. He is a seasoned, experienced fighter. His best shot may be to try to get Charlo into the uncharted waters of the final round. Steve, take us behind the numbers.
Well, Barry, for Antwone Smith, record buster. Ronald Cruz, 17-0. Henry Crawford, 22-0-1. Norberto Gonzalez, 16-0. What do they have in common? Smith gave them all their first loss. Wait for me. Smith's been a welterweight most of his career, lately flirting with moving up to junior middle. Tonight, he's a full-fledged middle. And that's it. Smith has fought a total of 164 rounds. Charlo only 42. And Smith has been 8 rounds or more 13 times, while Charlo's never been past 6. Potentially big advantage, Smith.
And now making his way into the ring, he is 14-0 with 10 wins coming by way of knockout. From Houston, Texas, Golden Boy Promotions, Jermall Charlo.
Jermall Charlo is the oldest of the Charlo twins by all of 1 minute. As a matter of fact, that's been just about the length of time they've been apart in 23 years. Good-looking prospect, very active in the last year. He's very tall for the division, and he's going to look to try to out-jab Smith tonight and beat him with all-around boxing skills. He's been as many as 6 rounds, though, only 1 time, and that was 3 years ago. He comes off a blowout win against an overmatched opponent, Luis Hernandez. That was back on June 1st. He has never been down in his career. He has never been cut. In fact, he's never really been tested. Tonight, he'll take a step up in class and face the biggest test of his career. So once again, Steve, take us behind the numbers.
Will do, Barry. For Jermall Charlo, power hitter. I think of Charlo as a bigger puncher here, but keep in mind that his 10 KOs have come against a relatively low level of opposition. No rest. This will be Charlo's 5th fight already this year. At this point in his young career, it's all about getting reps and rounds. And match tough. This is a step up. Charlo's been overwhelming his opponents, but while Smith is beatable, he's never been overwhelmed by anybody.
So it is our opening act tonight here on Showbox. Antwone Smith and Jermall Charlo. Let's meet the fighters now. We go to the center of the ring for the first time tonight, and the ring announcer, Joe Martinez. Joe.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and welcome to Fantasy Springs Resort Casino here in beautiful Indio, California for Showbox, the new generation. Presented by Golden Boy Promotions in association with Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, and Showtime. And now, fine fans, we are set to go with our first attraction this evening. 10 rounds, this scheduled in the junior middleweight division. Introducing your 3 judges scoring this bout at ringside. From Bassett, California, Ray Corona. From Tustin, California, Max DeLuca. And from Huntington Beach, California, Dr. James Jenkin. In charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Thomas Taylor. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing red trimmed in silver, he weighed officially 159 pounds. This ring veteran brings an outstanding record into the ring tonight. 23 victories, including 12 knockouts. Just 4 defeats and 1 draw. Fighting out of Miami, Florida, here is Antwone, the Truth Smith. And next his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing white with orange, trimmed in black, he weighed in 154 pounds even. As a professional, he is perfect in the ring. 14 bouts, 14 victories, including 10 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated Houston Texan native, Jermall the Hitman Charlo. Once again, referee in charge of the action, Thomas Taylor.
Boxer chief second, everyone else out. Boxer chief second, everyone else out. Gentlemen, belt lines are good. I want to remind you, protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands. Touch them up, back to your corner. Good.
When Smith came in 5 pounds over the contracted weight, it cost him 20% of his purse. He also had to agree to a weigh-in at 5 o'clock today, at which he couldn't weigh more than 165. He came in 64 and change. And this, by the way, is the 3rd consecutive fight in which Smith has come in over the contracted weight. And the rules here, no standing 8 in California, no 3 knockdown rule. Ref or doctor can stop the fight. You can't be saved by the bell in any round. And the accidental foul rule, if the fight is stopped before the start of round 4, no decision after that. We go to the cards, Barry.
All right, and we start with round number 1. And just to further your point about Antwone Smith, he did come in at 159. He was 164.5 tonight. But prior to last night, when we saw him, he had not had a meal since Tuesday. And he figures his best chance is to take Charlo into the deep rounds. And you have to really question, is he going to have the stamina to do that?
Yeah, exactly right, Barry. Another point. It's about 192 degrees outside. And if he can't make weight in this weather, then why did he take a fight at 154 in the first place? As I said before, 3rd consecutive fight he's coming overweight. Very unprofessional.
Yeah, that seems to be a problem with Antwone Smith. And if I was Charlo, I would take advantage of that. I would jump right on him because I don't think, he's going to have the energy. Just the way I saw him in the fighter meetings, he wasn't very positive about this fight.
No, he's very lethargic, as a matter of fact. Just in our conversation, nice left hand there by Charlo as he got Smith turned. But the interesting thing, of course, is we look at the experience of Charlo, again, with a big edge in the amateurs.
Yeah, Charlo was a very good amateur. Spars a lot with his brother, who was also a top amateur. And Antwone Smith, 42 amateur fights, mostly in Florida, nothing too national.
So the other thing I was going to say is that Charlo, ironically, weighs more tonight than Antwone Smith does.
Come on, guys, hands are free. Work out there.
In analyzing where Smith is at with his inflated weight, it's all about what he did to make 159 in the first place. If he worked as hard as he says he did and he didn't eat, well, then obviously it's not an advantage. But a fighter who chooses not to make weight obviously has an advantage because Charlo worked hard to make 154.
Yeah, and Charlo talked to us about that, too. He said, the rule should apply to both parties, which, in his mind, they did not. Charlo, very effective first round here, working the jab well, working the body well.
Yeah, he's got that excellent hard jab, changing up the jab up and down, and that's what he said he was going to do. He's going to establish his jab and just let everything else fall in place.
Yeah, Steve, one of the things I like about both the Charlos, is that they're both very patient, kind of wise beyond their years.
You get the impression watching them that they belong in the ring, that they're comfortable nowhere as much as when they're in the ring.
And I look to say about the Charlo brothers, I remember these kids when I used to work out at Willie Savannah gyms, and Ronnie Shields used to train me. They were little bitty boys, they were twins running around boxing, and now look where they're at now.
They remember you. They were talking about the gray hairs in your beard, I think.
Did they say they liked Raul? I don't remember.
Everybody likes him.
Well, step 1 for Smith, if he's going to have a chance in this fight, is to get close and get inside that jab. So far, he hasn't done it. But as he said yesterday, he's going to start slow because it's on his mind, that weight loss. And he wants to have enough gas late.
And that's going to be the story of this fight, I believe.
Coming from a mile away. Feigning sometimes. You got to use the feint every now and then. Okay, because he's trying to time your jab. So every time they're feigning, if he come to the right hand or the left hook. But if he's throwing the left hook, bring the right hand. If he's throwing the right hand, slow, baby. Too slow. Okay, all right.
But look, take away that jab, though. Don't let him swing forward. Okay. Now you good. Take your time.
Back up. Back up.
So here we go, round 2. Charlo in the white and orange trunks, and Smith in the red. And something you and I both noticed in the corner of Smith, and that is that he really hasn't broken a sweat. And you talked about the temperatures, not only outside, but inside this building. It's hot. And I would think that would be of some concern.
Very much so. Of course, he only threw 17 punches in the first round. Maybe that's why he didn't break a sweat.
Could be.
You throw more punches than that in our production meeting, Barry.
I take more. I don't know about throwing more.
Yeah, Charlo needs to force Antwone Smith to throw more punches. The way he's going to do that is by throwing some feints, jabbing, feinting with the jab, and then double, triple jab behind that, and let his combinations go. You got to make Antwone Smith commit.
Stop. No punch. Straight back. Straight back. Straight back.
It's a good point Ro's making, because one of Smith's pet moves, you see it, look at him giving him that shoulder. He gives you the shoulder, and what he's trying to do is draw a lead and then counter with the right hand. But he's not countering right now.
He's not countering. He's getting out quick by Charlo. Really, the better counter punches are thrown by Charlo.
He's trying to bait Charlo in, but like you said, Steve, I mean, all he's doing is that shoulder, and he's trying to catch him with a lead right coming in, see if Charlo falls into that. But Charlo's too smart. Look at his stance. Look at where his weight is at. He's in the center. He's not leaning forward or leaning too back. He's right on and letting his punches go, and that's where you get the most leverage out of your punches. More power off of that, too.
That's one of the things, again, that I like very much about both Charlos is they're very balanced fighters.
Yeah, very composed. Take their time and, look at him relaxed and just jabbing away.
There's a triple jab and then a left hook.
This Charlo, Jermall, has the rep as being a little more aggressive and a little bigger puncher than his brother, especially with the left hook. The right hand he tends to loop occasionally.
Which we asked Ronnie Shields if he was okay with the looping overhand right, and he said, yeah, as long as it lands and it does some damage. There it is. There it goes.
And that one didn't loop much, and down goes Smith.
3, 4, 5, 6.
And I'm not sure he's got no legs. He has no legs.
You okay? Can you go?
It's over.
Can't do it, man.
And here's a fighter. Give it up for Charlo to be sure, but here's a fighter who did not give himself the best chance to win tonight.
And you know what? In a sense, Barry, this result, only the second knockdown of Smith's entire career. In a sense, Jermall Charlo's a little bit cheated here, because what are people going to remember? Well, it was a substandard Smith that he beat, and that's really not fair to Charlo. He did what he had to do.
He did, absolutely. I mean, you can't say anything but positive things about Charlo, but you just hate to see a guy like Smith. I mean, we always talk about how in this sport of boxing, you cannot be even 98% and win a fight. And I would say this guy came in here at about 60%.
I agree with that. And going back to Charlo, we shouldn't take anything off his win, because at the end of the day, he took care of business. And this win here is a confidence builder for him. He's going to feel like Superman in the next fight, because look, he fought a guy that hasn't really been stopped, right? He's only been stopped one time in his losses.
Well, let's take a look at the knockdown. Right hand, Smith a little wobbled there, and then that looping right over the guard of Smith. In my behind the numbers, I said that nobody overwhelms Antwone Smith. I took that piece of paper and I just burnt it. Okay.
Yeah.
See it again. Nice counter right. We talked about Smith needing to throw a counter right. Well, it was Charlo that did it. The second right hand, very little resistance offered by Smith. Watch the counter right. That sets him up. He's already a little dazed. And that right, because it was looped, it went over the left shoulder of Smith. Watch this right hand over the shoulder. Boom. To the ear. Now, Smith does get up.
But when he went against the ropes, watch his legs.
Oh, yeah, he was gone. He was very wobbly and didn't have nothing on his legs. Look at him.
No, his legs are gone. And Thomas Taylor, a very good young ref here in California, did a good job.
Absolutely. There's a guy who had no chance to win this fight. And let's not take anything away from Jermall Charlo. Let's go to Joe Martinez, make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes officially 2 minutes, 23 seconds, round number 2. Referee Thomas Taylor calls a halt to the contest. Your winner by KO victory and still undefeated, Jermall, the Hitman Charlo.
So Charlo did what he had to do, and he maintains his undefeated record, and certainly you're going to see a lot more of both Charlos.